Hello, I'm James, and I've worked over 30 plus years on Wall Street. And there's one economic number that always comes out on the first Friday of every month that has always moved the markets, usually. Um, and the one coming out, it's coming out this Thursday instead of Friday because it's a holiday, July 4th on Friday. It's the non-farm payroll numbers. This one is of utmost importance. It's released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time by the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics. Um, and so I wanted to talk a bit about this one just because it's really going to dictate what the Fed does, and in that in turn would let us know how equities, bonds, gold, Bitcoin, almost every asset class trades. So let's get down to the numbers. So the consensus estimate is 115,000. Now this is basically, a lot of economists, let's say throughout Wall Street, let's say you have the JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. What they do is they take all the numbers that they think it'll be, and they then take an average of that. For example, Goldman Sachs may have the consensus estimate at only 80,000. Though this number is going to be a bit higher just because of the 40,000 additional jobs from the World Cup. And the other number that's released at the same time is the unemployment rate, which is pretty important. They're looking for it to hold steady at 4.3%, which is to me definitely a full employment level. And the reason this one's is very important is it's the final look at job numbers before the next FOMC meeting on July 28th, 29th. And that's where they decide whether they're going to raise rates or not. Now, based on economists, a lot of them feel we'll have one interest rate hike by the end of the year, not necessarily in this July meeting, though, based on economic data, you never know. So let's talk about last month's numbers. That came out June 5th for the May job numbers, and it really surprised Wall Street. It was a lot of estimates were looking around 80,000, and it came in more than double at 172,000. So when that number came out, it caused a big dip in tech stocks. I would say techs were down about 6-7% over the next few trading days, and gold was down additionally, even though it was down prior to that. It was down an additional, 10%, and it continues to trade lower as we speak now. Same with Bitcoin. It was at around 65,000 prior. Now it's down about 60,000, dropping as low as 58,000. So again, down about over 10%. So what we've seen is that gold and Bitcoin seem to be very sensitive now to a tightening bias in interest rates. And that's what we have now due to the recent, the May jobs number, the hotter CPI number, the hotter PPI number, all kind of factor into a tightening bias by Warsh, the Fed chairman. And the May numbers just gave the FOMC reason to raise the rates, with inflation ticking above their comfort level. They're trying to get it to 2%. It's, trading, I would say about 4.1% is the current inflation rate. And with, stronger jobs, so that certainly has gotten us toward a tightening bias versus in the beginning of the year when a lot of economists were thinking maybe one or two one or two cuts. And so So I wanted to discuss what my opinion is on, and my feeling is the numbers come in, and who knows, right? This is, it's hard to gauge on these non-farm payrolls. They surprise a lot, the most seasoned economists. But my opinion is that it comes in less than consensus, and that May was an aberration. To me, it seems, the AI is displacing many jobs in high skill sectors, especially, the tech layoffs have hit a 2-year high recently. The main numbers to me also seem to reflect seasonality with an uptick in travel and tourism. So, certainly will be very intriguing when Thursday comes and BLS makes its release. And so if I'm right and it's below consensus, it's going to really be dependent on how much below consensus. So for example, if it's a large miss, I think we certainly could see a bid up in the precious metals, gold, silver, and Bitcoin, definitely, and techs. Of course, as we head toward the middle of July and so forth, that's the second quarter earnings will be released, so that'll be a driver to stocks, tech stocks especially. But if it's below consensus, and plus, where we're going when we get to July CPI and PPI numbers, the inflation numbers. My feeling is that those release are for June, and as we've seen with oil drop, we could see those rates come in lower. So we'll have to see. But this would could possibly, if we had a huge miss, you could possibly put the interest rate hike in the back burner for this year. Now, conversely, if the number is, let's say, it beats consensus, then you really have to factor in that the Fed may hike interest rates, and we'll have to see how soon they do it. Could it move higher than what economists think would be in September? Is they're factoring in that first hike? And certainly that would cause, the precious metals, Bitcoin, the cryptos, techs to all to trade lower. So we'll see on Thursday. Now, bear in mind also, Friday is a holiday, so the markets are closed on Friday. But anyway, I'll talk to you soon.